I do think, though, it's important to pick up on one of the points that Bishop Edwards lifted up, and that is the credibility of the city of Mount Vernon had been jeopardized in the past.
Yes.
And when you talk to developers and when you talk to state and county officials off the record, they would let you know that doing business in Mount Vernon was a very difficult task. We know that the environment has changed under Mayor Young's leadership. Please trust me. We know, because we deal with people on the federal, the state, and the county level. There is a receptivity and an appreciation for what this mayor is doing to turn things around. Now, are there anybody can point to the problems. I'm looking for leaders who can help us not only point out the problems, but turn things around and offer credible solutions to move forward. I hope you will talk to each one of these ministers, because each one of them have insight, and they are standing here because they really believe in Mayor Young. But I'd like to finally hear from Pastor Troy DeCohen, who is the pastor of the Vernon Heights Congregational Church, but he also in his professional life has worked in helping to improve the life of marginalized people, dealing with homelessness and addictions and dealing with uplifting people who are falling through the cracks. This is a brother who is committed to improving the lives of young men and women, and he is standing here today supportive of Mayor Clinton Young. Would you receive Reverend Troy DeCohen?
Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters, and again, I can't share too much more than what has already been echoed from Bishop Edwards, from our president emeritus. I really just can't share too much more, but I stand here in solidarity, stand here in support of Mayor Clinton R. Young. And I don't say this, and I'm not taking anything away from the other candidates that are running. But in my pastoral affiliation and association with Mayor Clinton R. Young, I found him, as has been mentioned, a man of integrity. When we had murders and our young men were being killed, one every month, this mayor stood with us, and I'm not saying who wasn't there, but this mayor stood with us every summit meeting. He stood with us every program. He stood with us in order to make a change in this community, in order to save the lives of our young men and women. And he needs to be applauded just for that. We are just so grateful for the efforts. We are so grateful for the tenacity and for the efforts that this man had put in. And not just that also, and a lot of people also just, we could speak about a lot of other issues, political issues and so forth, but then let's just talk about some practical issues. We was also ready to lose the hospital here. And this mayor also stood shoulder to shoulder with the civic leaders, with the pastors here, with our presidents here, stood with us shoulder to shoulder, and we were able to save the hospital. But not just save the hospital, there's a $55 million reinvestment in the uplifting and the building of the Mount Vernon Hospital, and we are just so grateful for that. There's so many things that can be echoed, so many things that can be said, and we just support him, we pray for him, and we endorse him today as he goes forth in his re-election for Mayor Clinton R. Young.
And now's the moment.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready? Listen, people keep talking about change. They keep asking for change. But the truth of the matter is, change is in us. You have to change your way of thinking, and then change your behavior, and then change becomes contagious. There is change taking place in Mount Vernon. I am proud to have been born in Mount Vernon Hospital, come through the Mount Vernon school systems, and now serve as a pastor here in this community. And I am proud of our leader. Will you join me now in receiving the Chief Executive Officer, the visionary, the leader in Mount Vernon,
Listen, I'm so happy to see so many of you out here today. You know, this was not called as a rally. We just called this together a couple of days ago so that this important announcement could be made. Certainly, I am so happy to receive the support of so many of our clergy people here in the city of Mount Vernon. It means a lot to me, and I'll tell you why. We just didn't start working together last week. I came into office, and let me be the first to say, everything was not wrong in the city of Mount Vernon when I got here. But what needed to be corrected needed new energy and a new focus on solving those challenges. But I also understood that many of the problems, or most of the problems here in Mount Vernon, didn't have anything to do with the streets. It had to do with the spirit of our community, the spirit of our community. Therefore, it was important to me as your mayor, how do we deal with the spirit of these young men? How do we deal with the spirit of other challenges in this community? I had no choice, not that I would not in the beginning, but we had to engage the faith-based community. I understand our history. I understand the importance and the influence of the clergy in making things move forward and better for any community. These clergy people, no different. There were leaders before Clinton Young got into office. I was happy that they were open and receptive to us working together to solve the problems in this community. Not a political agenda, but an agenda of community, an agenda of us moving the city of Mount Vernon forward. So I want to thank you. This endorsement means so much to me. It means a lot to me. It means a lot because it validates the fact that we have made progress. 4 years ago, I came to this community asking and stating it was time for a change. The theme now is progress must continue. 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 And as a community, that progress will continue. Now, I want you to know too, again, how appreciative I am of the work that you've done for these past 3.5 years with me, the work that we need to continue to do, the work that we need to continue to do over the next 4 years. This city deserves the best. The citizens of Mount Vernon deserve the best. We have no choice but to become a 21st century city and do what is right for this city. My plan, that is my goal, and together as a community, we can make that happen. Before we leave though, I want you to know that I am proud. I'm proud of my faith. I'm proud of my commitment to my faith. And again, I thank you, gentlemen, because you've uplifted me. You prayed for this community. You've done all that is necessary again to restore the right spirit in the city of Mount Vernon. I do want to introduce the person who got me involved in the church. She not only made me go to church, she took me to church. So I want my mother to come up too. She endorses me too. Now, many of you have heard this story before, but I always enjoy telling it. My mother was a long-time teacher here in the city of Mount Vernon. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my mother was my 5th grade teacher. That was the longest year of any kid's life, you know. But I always enjoy telling the story. But again, to have my mother and to have the validation of the faith-based community in this city is so significant to me personally. And I thank everybody for coming out. We say we would not keep you too long. We know that this is a holiday, and we know that you have a number of cookouts to get to. And again, this was an announcement. Had these individuals wanted this to be a rally, we could not have held it in front of City Hall. Okay, let's be clear about that. Let's be clear. They speak to 15,000 people every Sunday. We could not have made this a rally, which is why we wanted to make it an announcement. So again, thank you for coming out. Enjoy and be safe over this holiday. Don't eat too much, and I look forward to your help and your support and your vote on September 13th. Understand, September 13th, September 13th, not November, it's not about November. It's the September 13th. That's the Democratic primary, September 13th. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you.